Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all once again to the old schoolhouse here in the hamlet of Butterstone for another one of our wee Saturday night half hours. And believe it or not, we're having a heat wave in Butterstone. I'm actually sunburned. And I mean, it's been this last week, it's been so hot, incredible for this time of year. And my bees have all swarmed. I'm permanently out in my greenhouse with water on my flowers because they just put water on them and then within 5 minutes it's dry again. It's very unusual and I'm not complaining, but it's almost too hot. Anyway, I was down last weekend in Girvanaf at a festival. I played at a festival. On my way back home, wee Callum was with us, and we stopped in at Burns's Cottage in the wee museum there for Robbie Burns. And it was fascinating. I haven't been there for years, and it's a great place, and you can go to the old churchyard where the witches were for when Burns' imagination was writing Tam O'Shanter and stuff. And it was great. We had a great kind of afternoon on the way back up from the festival with Callum. So I thought I would start off tonight with a Burns song, which would be lovely. So we'll see how we go on. This is one of Burns' gems. Caw the owls, tail the nose, caw them where the heather grows, caw them where the bonny rose, my bonny dearie. Hark the mavis evening song, sounding Cluden's woods among, then a folding let us gang, my bonny dearie. We'll gang down by Cluden's side, through the hazels spreading wide, o'er the waves that sweetly glide, tae the moon sae clearly. Fair and lovely as thou art, you have stolen my very heart. I can die, but cannot part, my bonny dearie. The owls tae the nose, caw them where the heather grows, caw them where the bonny rose, my bonny dearie. Thank you very much, and that's my wee version of Robbie Burns's beautiful song "Call the Owls," and it was lovely to sort of hang about down there in Alloa last weekend. But it's a beautiful, beautiful song, and anyway, that's my version of it. Could you please welcome? I nearly forgot. I was going to get into trouble. Could you please welcome to the stage the wonderful Tatty Faces, who are going to be accompanying me tonight, and they're thrilled because last weekend I planted some potatoes in the garden, and they're all very excited about it. And but I don't know whether this hot weather was going to happen. Anyway, I thought I would do this song. No, now that song, I've got my request thing here. I'm going to just read my requests out. "Call the Owls" was for Alison and Stuart Thompson in Kilcreggan in Argyll and Bute. Lovely part of the world down there. Also for Valerie Cranton from Auckland in New Zealand. Now, I've done concerts in Auckland. It's a beautiful part of the world, New Zealand, and spent some time up in the Bay of Islands up in the north. But I've got a whole bunch of cousins down in the South Island, round about Invercargill and Dunedin. And you know the song that I wrote about them immigrating out. Well, my uncle was immigrating out there. So that was what they... And this is a wee song. It's an old song of mine, and it's not a song I sing very often, but I just thought I'd have a wee go at it. I was listening to it the other day, and I thought, I'm going to sing that song. It's quite a sad song, but it came up... It actually came from me watching... It was during the big oil tanker disaster. I think it was called the Deepwater Horizon in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere, just off Florida. And I was reading this article about it, about the oil slick, and how the birds, when they were, the birds would fly over it and dive down into it, and then not be able to get back up again because of this because it was dark down under the water with this oil. And lots of birds couldn't land, and they just flew around and around in circles until they eventually collapsed. And it was really sad. And so I made this wee song. This is sometimes I make wee sad songs, and but we'll try and see. Across the ocean the wind blows silent. What a tale of sorrow. Start again. I had a wee problem with my teeth there. Across the ocean the wind blows silent. What a tale of sorrow it brings. How the force overs fires and violent rains. Stand ashore, watch the broad horizon, never knowing what it might hide, washing up a great storm of tears on every tide. And then we cried, and then we cried. He dives down to never surface. What happened to the sun shining light? Forever to be lost in the long and darkest night. Soars round in endless circles, holding to our final fatal flight, falling through the changes that see us out of sight. And then we cried, and then we cried. Is it there only for our taking? Will solution bring more fear? The long-forgotten rhythm that's thrown always near. Across the ocean, the wind blows silent. What a tale of sorrow it brings. And listen how the force that's so poor and violent rings. And then we cried, and then we cried, and then we cried, and then we cried. That's my wee song, Then We Cried, and it's been a long time since I've sung that. It's quite hard bringing all the words back into the brain again. But yeah, it was a wee song about that terrible disaster, and it was from the kind of the story of the birds flying around above it, and what a terrifying thing that must have been for them. Anyway, we'll do a wee song with a chorus now, and I haven't done this very often either, but I thought I would do it tonight. Somebody asked me if I would do it, and I'm going to get my banjo here, and that wee song was a request, actually. It was for Fiona Morton from San Francisco in the USA, and I hope she's watching. And this is a song which I wrote. I used to be, before I became a musician, in my teens, I was a gardener up in Aberdeen, in the town of Aberdeen. And it's a very rural part of the world up there. And then they discovered oil off the west coast of Aberdeen. And the whole place changed. And it was kind of sad, you know, that all of a sudden there was all this money. And I must admit, I even got a job on an oil pipeline myself when I was, I think, about 18 or something. But there was a big oil pipeline that came from Aberdeen all the way down to Grangemouth, and then the oil was shipped, I think, down to London, actually. But it changed the whole kind of way that the people up in Aberdeen had lived, you know. And because there was that much money going around and a lot of people kind of showing off with their money. And so I wrote this wee song. It's kind of a wee parody, and it's called The Northern Cowboy. And the chorus is easy. So the global choir, you can. Now, I haven't done this very often, so this could go pear-shaped as well. We'll just have to see how I get on. But that's one of the great things about these broadcasts, is I can try things like this out. And So you sing, "Look, here comes a northern cowboy. He just rode in from Aberdeen." Because all the people that were involved in the oil in Aberdeen were all from Texas and places like that. It was they brought over all the kind of oil experts, and the whole thing became this kind of Texan kind of Aberdeen became a kind of Texan town. And then because all the people were wandering around with cowboy hats and things and that, and so you're saying, "Look, here comes a northern cowboy. He just rode in from Aberdeen. He's got money in his pockets and blisters like you've never ever seen. Don't let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. I've been looking around the northeast coastline, and those cowboys have already dug its grave." It's a lot of words for the global choir, but I trust you to get... We'll do it a couple of times before we do the song, just to see if we can get you in. I'm going to have a wee mouthful of this. I've got a bit of a throat thing going on tonight. Everything's so dry at the moment. Okay, so here we go. Look, here comes a northern cowboy. He just rode in from Aberdeen. He's got money in his pockets and blisters like you've never ever seen. Don't let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. I've been looking along the northeast coastline, and those cowboys have already dug its grave. This is from my angry period. We got that chorus, we'll try again, here we go. All right, Mr. Tatty Face, you got it? And look, here comes a northern cowboy. He just rode in from Aberdeen. He's got money in his pockets and blisters like you've never ever seen. Don't let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. I've been looking along the northeast coastline, and those cowboys have already dug its grave. You got it? You can maybe try and you can make up the words if you can't remember them all. Anyway, here we go. There was a time when we were happy with the simple pleasures that we knew. And then one day it started raining, and a very ugly storm began to brew. And it wasn't long before we noticed that the people had a fever in their eyes. Took all the things they'd been preserving and going out and throwing them up into the skies. And look, here comes a northern cowboy. He just rode in from Aberdeen. He's got money in his pockets and blisters like you've never ever seen. Don't let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. I've been looking along the northeast coastline, and those cowboys have already dug its grave. And once the money started moving, and the fever spread from door to door, and all the young girls started selling something they had never sold before. And the people spun around in circles, confusion cluttering their minds. Their lives were being drawn from them by bastards of 100 different kinds. And look, here comes a northern cowboy. He just rode in from Aberdeen. He's got money in his pockets and blisters like you've never ever seen. Don't let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. I've been looking along the northeast coastline, and those cowboys have already dug its grave. This is where you sing it on your own. Are you ready? Global choir. We'll see how we get on with this. Okay, here we go. Look, here comes an just rode in from Aberdeen. He's got money in his pocket and blisters like don't let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. Of all the money he has made. I've been looking along the northeast coastline. Looking along the northeast coastline, and those cowboys have already dug it. Now that's amazing. That's pretty good. If we'll do it again, we'll do it again, and I'll feed you the lines. Maybe I can do that. I can maybe feed you the lines as we go along, so you've got the words. But I'm getting the vibe here. I'm getting a northern cowboy kind of vibe going on in the old schoolhouse. Jen's doing a wee bit of dancing there in the corner. But here we go again. Look, here comes a northern cowboy, just rode in from Aberdeen. He just rode in. He's got money in his pockets. He's got money in his pockets. And blisters like you've never ever seen. Blisters like... Don't let him fool you with the stories. Don't let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. I've been looking along the northeast coastline. Looking along the northeast coast. And those cowboys have already dug its grave. So come all you northern cowboys, get back down here upon the farm. Leave the salt wind to the sailors. Don't leave the North Sea to the storm. And then one day when it's all over, and you're hanging up your saddles and your guns, you'll look along this northeast coastline, and you'll wish to Christ it never had begun. Here we go. And look, here comes a northern cowboy. He just rode in from Aberdeen. He's got money in his pockets and blisters like you've never ever seen. Let him fool you with the stories of all the money he has made. I've been looking along the northeast coastline, and those cowboys have already dug its grave. Well done, well done. That's a really old song of mine called "Northern Cowboy," and you got there in the end. I think that was pretty good for us. A pretty good attempt for all these words, and oops, I just hit the button. Didn't need to do that actually. I think that was pretty good for having to do all these words, but it was a time actually. It was a very strange time. And then eventually the kind of oil thing collapsed up at Aberdeen, and a lot of people lost a lot of money, and it was all kind of, I think it's kind of all kind of calmed down a little bit now, but it was pretty crazy for a while. It was like a kind of a gold rush. Anyway, I thought I'd finish. Oh, now that was actually Northern Cowboy was requested, believe it or not. I've got a request. I think it was last year somebody requested it, but I'm going to read out the request anyway, just because he might still be watching. It was for Andrew Duncan in Keith in Banffshire. Now he would know all about the Northern Cowboys and the oil, because that's up in that part of the country, Keith, which is a lovely part of the country. And I thought I would do this because the weather's been so beautiful, and the weather's been so beautiful. I thought I would do this wee song, which is because the Garden Valley out there is looking beautiful at the moment with all the blossom. I've never seen so much blossom. This warm weather has made incredible blossom, and but my bees don't know what. My bees don't know what's happened. Now, the weather's maybe a month ahead of itself, you know, and there's all this amazing blossom, and the bees are just sort of, they're swarming like they're in a kind of complete frantic swarm mode, and which is great actually. It's lovely to watch kind of nature in its with all that kind of energy that happens when the weather gets nice and they're thriving, and that's the reason that they swarm anyway. So I thought I would sing the wee song. It's called Garden Valley is what I call the wee area where Butterstone is situated, and it's between kind of Dunkeld and Blairgowrie, and this was a wee This is really not my home. Oh, where are you, my lovely Jenny? I'm afraid and all alone. There is no peace for me. I'm sitting in the stranger's room. I'm sitting in the stranger's room, playing at the stranger's table, shining empty like the moon. There is no peace for me. But in the darkness, struggle cold, I think about a garden valley, gentle as the leaves unfold, singing out along the Tay, distant and so far away. There is no peace for me, and I'm blinded by your city lights. I'll wander through these fearful places. The colors fade to black and white. There is no peace for me. And these are not the friends I know. These are not their smiling faces. A desert that no one should know. There is no peace for me. But in the darkness, struggle cold, I think about a garden valley, gentle as the leaves unfold, singing out along the Tay, distant and so far away. There is no peace for me. Now I know and feel it well, poor immigrant's deep sunken feeling, standing at the gates of hell. There is no peace for me. Burned out by their master's greed, cruel exile transportation, robbed of every love and need. There is no peace for me. But in the darkness, struggle cold, I think about a garden valley, gentle as the leaves unfold, singing out along the Tay, distant and so far away. There is no peace for me. But in the darkness, struggle cold, I think about a garden valley, out along the Tay, distant and so far away, there is no peace for me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's my wee song called Garden Valley, and it's just the place outside there. The Garden Valley is looking its absolute best at the moment. It's beautiful. And so that brings us to the end of our wee half an hour. I'd like to thank the Tatty Faces who for their usual wonderful accompaniment. There's just me and Jenny in the house tonight, in the old schoolhouse, and so she's running around up there with the buttons. So thanks to Jen. That Garden Valley was requested, actually, by Keith and Anne Kendall from Leyburn in North Yorkshire. North Yorkshire, that's a lovely part of the world down there as well. And also for Norma Wainwright from Redditch in Worcester. So, yeah, that's lovely. That's another part of the lovely part of the world down there as well. So, send in your requests, and I'll do my best to kind of do them. Every now and again, like tonight, I pull a couple of old things out of the bag that I haven't sung for a while, and I usually kind of get through them. But there might be don't be emailing me saying, "Oh, you got the words wrong on that." I was probably making them up actually because I was having a senior moment or something. But anyway, thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. Nothing left to do, but now I have to tell you that the tickets for Live 267, can you believe that? 267, that's a great big word. It's our May 1 hour special, which is on May the 24th. They will be on sale at some point this week. So, and that's at DougieMacLeanLive.com. And that kind of, if you buy tickets, it helps keeps the wheels of the old schoolhouse machine here oiled. But anyway, the weather's lovely. I don't know what it's like with wherever you are, but it puts a smile on your face. And in these tired and troubled times, as long as we're all looking after each other and staying cheery and kind of smiling like a tatty face. I'm actually sunburnt tonight. I can feel it in my face. I can't believe I got sunburnt out in Butterstone. That's a in May, and maybe in June, late June, you can get sunburnt, but not this early on. So I'm feeling a wee bit hot. But anyway, I'll look after each other. Things are always difficult, but wee nights like this are great. And leave us a wee message on the Facebook page or on the YouTube. Let us know where you're watching from, because we love that, Jen and I. And there's a great community now kind of built up. So get on there and have a wee chat with each other and get to know everybody and get to know the rest of the global choir. And that's all I've got left to say. Just say good night, and you take care. Aichava, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.